I have no disclosure. The main aim of this study was to investigate the association between preoperative BPH patterns and continence after LARP. Patients who underwent LARP between 2010 and 2014 were included in this present study. Age, BMI, PSA, parameters of pressure flow study, prostate volume, length of intravesical prostatic protrusion, and length width of the membranous urethra and levator thickness were measured by MRI images. This slide showed how to calculate MUL, MUW, LT, PV, IPP. In this study, we performed two studies. Study 1, we performed multivariate analysis to identify the predictors of urinary continence in 1 month and 12 months post-LARP. Study 2, to investigate the effect of IPP. Patients were categorized into two groups based on IPP length. Group 1 under 5 mm and Group 2 over 5 mm. IPSS, OABSS, QOL index, and number of pads used were evaluated 1, 3, 6, and 12 months after LARP. This slide showed result of study 1. Patient number was 119. Patient characteristics is recorded left side of slide. In right side of slide shows results of multivariate analysis to identify predictors of urinary continence after LARP in 1 month and 12 months. In 1 month, MUL, IPP, and nerve sparing showed significant difference. In 12 months, only nerve sparing showed significant difference in this study. This slide showed result of study 2. Patients were categorized into two groups based on IPP length. There was significant difference in compliance, PDET Qmax, prostate volume, and preoperative IPSS score between the two groups. About IPSS total score and voiding symptom scores, a significant difference was observed between the two groups before LARP, but disappeared from the first month after LARP. In the post-operative continence, Group 1 was higher continence rate in the 1 month after LARP than Group 2. In this study, IPP affects the urinary continence in the early post-operative stage. Various preoperative factors are involved in continence after LARP, but IPP may also be one of the factors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what we all want to know is, should we measure intravesical prostatic protrusion before a radical prostatectomy? Should we do this? Is there any value to the patient?
I'm sorry, pardon.
Is there any value to the patient if you measure IPP? Is it good for the patient to measure IPP?
Maybe it's I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Well, yeah. Perhaps I can try to formulate an answer. If IPP is there, it will have to be removed anyhow, isn't it? And I think the presenter indicated that after 1 month there potentially is a difference in continence rate, but it's waved out after even after 3 months nearly, and definitely after 1 year. So who bothers? Yeah. Nevertheless, it's interesting to study it because it could have had consequences again in decision-making for radical prostatectomy versus other potential therapies. But, any other questions?
I'd just like to say, though, that the use of the IPSS is not wise, is not good. It's the standard of care. Everybody does it. But you have to remember that the IPSS has no questions about incontinence. And that's actually one of the major problems for patients in radical prostatectomy. So you should be using a questionnaire like the ICIQ MLUTS questionnaire. So you have dealt with this by giving a second questionnaire, which is the OAB symptom score, which of course includes urgency incontinence, but it doesn't include stress incontinence. So the questionnaire that should be used is the ICIQ MLUTS, which contains stress incontinence and urgency incontinence, and you only need to give one questionnaire. So the IPSS is not useful in men, I'm afraid, because so many men, particularly with an aging population, actually have incontinence at baseline, whatever their condition is. So 10% of all of us have OAB, and by the time you get to the average age of 70, probably 20 to 30% of us have OAB, and probably 10% of us will have urgency incontinence. And this is not being recorded in routine research. So I think this is a message for all of us, particularly with an aging population. So thank you very much.
Thank you.